Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. No DQ match for the TNT Championship. If Mark Briscoe loses, he must join the Don Callis family. So I don't know why a decision was made to do a no-holds-barred match between Jon Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly, and then right into a no DQ match for the TNT Championship, back-to-back. I don't know why a decision like that was made, and I don't know why anybody didn't focus on that and looked at the line sheet and went to Tony Khan and said, hey, boss man, can we separate these two matches and spread them out a little bit? Because one was more violent than the other, and one was definitely going to steal the other's momentum. I don't know why a decision like that was made. I find that to be absolutely fucking foolish. So that's number one. Number two, Mark Briscoe has largely been a loser on AEW television. And I don't want to sit here and say that Mark Briscoe is a loser like Ricochet's been a loser. Mark Briscoe has at least captured the hearts of the audience, and a lot of people, even in defeat, wanted to see him kind of overcome. He's just got that kind of Mick Foley-like vibe, that Kevin Owens-like vibe, babyface vibe, where people just want to see him win, and they want to fucking cheer for him because he's just a genuine, down-to-earth, blue-collar, relatable guy. That's it.
Yeah.
It's nothing too crazy. It's easy to see, and it's easy to cheer for, okay? The thing with this, Jesse, is we've seen this match now after tonight 5 times. At some point, he was going to have to win. And granted, this was the very perfect situation for him to win, and I'm glad that they did. He finally conquered Kyle Fletcher and won the TNT Championship. But, man, the way that we got there, I'm gonna get into in a second. It doesn't really take anything away from how we feel about Mark Briscoe, because at the end of it, even though it was kind of comical and circus-like, he genuinely deserves it. So I'm glad that he won. I'm glad that they finally put a belt on him, because he's been one of the hardest working guys all year there. And there's nobody that deserves it more right now than Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, he's looking great, man. He did beat MJF too. And I don't think commentary did a good enough job at reminding people that, he's not a loser. He did beat, one of the top guys in the whole company. But he has put in the time, he's put in the work, and he's taking his fair, share amount of L's, and a title run for him is definitely well deserved. He deserved this time right now.
So he did beat MJF, which I didn't really hear them mention on commentary either. And Briscoe would win a match and then quickly lose a match. He'd come out of that match with MJF and go right into a fucking feud with the Don Callis family and start teaming with Hologram and the rest of the conglomeration. He didn't really find himself being treated as a big deal. Like, if you're feuding with the AEW former world champion, especially MJF, like, you should be treated like a main event talent, and you should, especially after beating MJF, like, you should be going up. You beat MJF, he went down. So they waited and waited and waited, and they finally gave him this match here. But we got a great video package on Briscoe coming up through AEW and his time in the conglomeration. They showed footage of his real family. So we get this match started, and we get weapons right out of the gate. So Briscoe starts bringing out weapons. He placed Fletcher against a ladder. He tried a somersault dive and crashed and burned through the ladder. That was the first big spot. Fletcher violently launched the ladder into the face of Briscoe, busting him open, and he was legitimately bleeding buckets here. So if you thought O'Reilly was bad in the last match, right into the blood and gore, immediately back-to-back. So he got busted open, and Callis is on commentary saying he wants him to be hurt for a few months, but he doesn't want his career to end. As Callis says he will own Briscoe's life if he's in the Don Callis family. Fletcher threw another ladder into the ring and continued to slam Briscoe on it. Fletcher then placed a broken ladder between the ropes and used it as a platform, which looked fucking stupid and ridiculous, because I don't know what he was planning to do here, because he was standing on the ladder, which was less stable, but he was also perched on the second turnbuckle, so he was actually harming himself more than he was helping himself. Didn't really understand that spot, and the ladder wasn't really going to be used for anything anyway. So he had the broken ladder in the ring there, and Briscoe gets free, hits an uppercut, threw the ladder to Fletcher, and drop kicked him in the face with the ladder. Briscoe popped Fletcher in the face with the ladder, eventually causing him to bleed as well. So both guys are bleeding. Briscoe placed him on a table at ringside, set it up, because the fans chanted, "We want tables," and, pro wrestling chants, and people want tables, and it's just cringy. So he places him on the table. Fletcher rolled off. Half and half suplex from Fletcher on the floor as he placed 6 chairs upright together. He took too long. Briscoe threw one in his face. Briscoe went to climb the ropes. He was distracted by Don Callis. Fletcher launched Briscoe through the table that was set up previously. So he goes through the table. Another table was placed in the corner. As Fletcher went for a lawn dart, Briscoe escaped and they trade half and halves. While Briscoe wanted a J driller, Fletcher continued the offense and countered into a running, I don't know what the fuck this was. It was like a white noise through the table that was set up in the corner. So we got a last ride power bomb connected on a 2 count. Fletcher goes for a bucket underneath the ring, and in the bucket was thumbtacks. So he spreads them all across the ring mat. He places the thumbtacks in Briscoe's mouth. This is what I was talking about earlier. We saw this with MJF and Mark Briscoe at All Out, where they had a tables and thumbtacks match. So why are you repeating the same fucking spots that we saw literally 2 months ago? It's just over and done with. So he puts them in his mouth, super kick. Briscoe escaped the last ride, spiked Fletcher into the tacks with a fisherman buster, which looked brutal. Briscoe throws in 2 tables, and one is covered in barbed wire and a high ladder, which he then sets up a table in front of. So he took a little bit of time here. Fletcher's on the apron and tries a brainbuster off through the tables, but Briscoe counters into a blockbuster off the apron onto the chairs that he had set up. There were 6 chairs set up previously, and he goes through them all. So back inside, Briscoe puts Fletcher on the table. He climbs off this ladder, and it's cut off. Briscoe fights Fletcher off and manages to hit this ridiculous-looking froggy bow as Fletcher is on the ladder, leaning backwards, and Briscoe jumps off the ladder onto Fletcher, through the table, off the ladder. That theoretically should have been the end of the match. And Fletcher kicks out at a 2. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How are you going to do a spot like that and he's going to kick out? So at this point, the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Briscoe pulls in the barbed wire table and didn't see Callis give Fletcher a screwdriver. Briscoe blocks a shot initially. Fletcher hits a low blow and starts stabbing Briscoe in the forehead with the screwdriver. He then, Jesse, takes the screwdriver, and the camera is focused right up on Kyle Fletcher's face. He licks the screwdriver, the bloody screwdriver, and licks the blood of Mark Briscoe off the screwdriver and swallows the blood. So he Tony just allows his talent to just do this fucking sick horror show shit. I don't know. I don't want to see that. I don't really care to see that, and it's unnecessary. So he licks the screwdriver. Callis called that spot sexy. It is not. Fletcher missed another shot. Briscoe hits a low blow. Brainbuster onto the thumbtacks. Fletcher kicked out. Briscoe up top. Fletcher shoved the referee into the ropes, crotching Briscoe. Fletcher places the screwdriver spike up through the turnbuckle pad, and he wanted to do his patented brainbuster turnbuckle spot on top of the turnbuckle with the screwdriver poking through the turnbuckle pad. Thank God he didn't.
He didn't, yeah.
So he gets out of it. He slides out, only to be stabbed in the head with the screwdriver. Fletcher hits his brainbuster flush. Briscoe kicks out. Fletcher wanted his avalanche brainbuster, like I said. Again, Briscoe escaped, and it's an avalanche razor's edge through the barbed wire table. J Driller. Briscoe wins off the J Driller. 1, 2, 3, and he wins the TNT title. Now, you said, Jesse, you were sports entertained by this. We got our criticisms about the overabundance of garbage here. This did not need to take place back-to-back after the Jon Moxley-Kyle O'Reilly match. Nothing we saw here is out of the ordinary. We literally seen all of this, if not worse, inside Blood and Guts a week and a half ago. So, again, I'm glad Briscoe won. It was the right outcome, and I'm very happy for Mark Briscoe. I'm a big Mark Briscoe guy. So him being the TNT champion was the right outcome. How we got there was a little fucking cloudy for me. And quite honestly, Chad, I'm immune to this shit. We didn't need to go to these lengths. This match, this feud, all of this didn't really need this level of abundance of blood and violence. And I just think that they do it because they don't know anything else. And I look at someone like Kyle Fletcher, bro, and this is another thing. I look at someone like Kyle Fletcher, and I look at him being such a great pro wrestler, bro, and he's lowering himself to this fucking indie garbage when he is such a great pro wrestler, and people are making the correlation between Kyle Fletcher and him being a young Randy Orton. Now, I know Orton had his feuds and he did his junk matches too, but, bro, it seems like and it feels like Fletcher is in more of these matches than anything else. And now he's going to be in the Continental Classic, and I look at him at a young age, and I worry about how he's going to be 3-4 years from now if they're wrestling this type of shit, bro. You know, it's not unfair to look at it because he's such a great talent, but you got at some point you got to start questioning what he's doing to his body, man, and how much of a toll it's going to take on him.
Yeah, same for Darby, Jeff and Matt Hardy. So I mean, bro, I can go on and fucking on. You know, you like scary movies?
I do not.
You like horror movies?
I do not.
I can tell.
I don't.
It makes sense then. Okay.
I'll watch Final Destination.
No. I love horror movies. I mean,
bro, this is pro wrestling.
I know it.
This is not a horror movie. AEW has the pen. They wield the mighty pen, bro. They are in charge of everything. They dictate what we see and what we don't see. We don't need to see this.
I know. I know. I get it. You know, there's some people who might watch your show and say, "Why do you got to curse so much? Why do you got to swear so much? Why don't you just use clean language? Why do you have to? You got to swear to get views?"
No, because it's part of my personality.
Right on.
It's part of my personality.
I mean, I'm an adult. I can handle the curse words. I don't mind it. You know, it doesn't bother me. I use them too. Sure. You know, but to those who can't handle it, those who are too weak to handle the fucking language, you need to tune out. You know, don't deal with it. You know, you can't. Now, if you get adults watching adult content, then I don't care. I don't fucking care, man. Swear all you want. You know, I'm not offended. I get it. I understand why it's being done. I understand it's acting. I understand it's a character. I understand it.
Bro, I understand what you're saying as far as the horror movies, bro. But there are bad horror movies with cringy scenes that are just violent for no reason and just go for the fucking kill, and they look to outdo each fucking kill before it. Meanwhile, the movies that I like, a death in a movie, bro, I like it to be meaningful, and I like it to be impactful, and I like it to be fucking something that happens, and you don't see an overabundance of it. We just saw 2 matches with back-to-back blood, bro, and then you got a steel cage match main eventing this show for the biggest prize in the company, and you got your challenger for the world championship bleeding in a steel cage match, which is a setting that needs blood because you're putting 2 guys in an animalistic structure surrounded by fucking steel and chain. So when Joe bled at the end of the show, bro, we saw 2 murders before this. How impactful is Samoa Joe's murder at the end of the show? It's not very impactful if Kyle O'Reilly and both Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher bled just as much as Samoa Joe. How impactful is Joe's death at the end of the show? It's not.
I get it. No. Why do you got to use curse words in the last segment when you just use them in this segment? Are you going to use them in the next segment?
I'm gonna use them, and I'm gonna curse away.
But you don't need all of those. I mean, you just need a little bit in the right situations. You don't need all of the curse words at every last single segment. Just use them where they're properly needed.
It's a curse word, bro. I'm not bleeding like a fucking stuffed pig on fucking Thanksgiving. Okay?
Okay. That doesn't make it okay. You just said what it is. Okay. Like it doesn't make it. I mean, it doesn't make. We're adults here, man. Are you so offended by blood? Is it scary?
I'm not offended by blood. Who said I was offended by blood?
You seem to have a real problem.
Bro, I'm not offended by blood. I'm offended by the lack of creativity because they use an overabundance of blood. I'm not skeeved of blood, or I don't have a problem looking at blood or someone bleeding. In fact, I actually quite enjoy it in a sports setting. But when you have back-to-back matches and then your main event is both guys bleeding like stuffed pigs, how impactful is it, Jesse? We just talked about the CM Punk Drew McIntyre discussion from last year. They bled. Out of everybody on WWE television all year, they bled inside Hell in a Cell. How impactful was it for WWE to allow Punk and McIntyre to bleed on fucking PLE, being a publicly traded company on Wall Street, bro? How impactful was it?
I know, man. I was watching WWE and I saw someone say a curse word. Very rare. Very rare. They don't do that. They don't do that, man.
Cody told Rock to go fuck himself. How impactful was that when he said it?
Yeah. Yeah. So why do you got to use it all the time? If you use it less, it'd be more impactful.
That's just what I do.
Right.
I'm a successful channel. AEW is not successful. They're actually losing 60% of their audience. I have not. I've only gained 30% year over year. So,
do you have the money to start a wrestling company?
I actually do. I actually do.
Okay. All right. Maybe to the chat and the streamers who maybe not know what it costs to operate an entire roster and pay a salary of wrestlers to wrestle on TV. Maybe they might not know what it costs to run a wrestling company, but I do. So you can fuck off with that one. No, you don't. Okay.
I will tell you after the stream is over, you know exactly my living situation. So don't tell me that I can't start a pro wrestling company. I very much
How many
could.
wrestlers on the AEW roster right now?
1,000.
How much do you think they make?
Too much.
You can pay these guys 6 figures a year, all of them,
to run a pro wrestling show or run a fucking company. You want me to open up a company like AEW?
Can you run a wrestling company? Do you have the finances to run a wrestling company?
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing, man.
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's news to me then. I had no idea that you could afford to pay. I know wrestlers who are making $1 million a year. You can do that.
I can, bro. I can. I'll tell you after the show how that's possible.
Okay.
And it's actually been something that I have been broached about as well, but I won't do it because pro wrestling companies are nothing more than a money pit, bro. Tony Khan ain't making money, so why would I want to open up a pro wrestling company?
God.
How did we get to this fucking discussion after me telling you that too much blood is a bad thing? How?
It's a bad thing if it bothers you. Yeah, it does.
It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the fact that they do it too much. What aren't you getting? Are you like the fucking dum-dums on social media, or do you understand what I'm saying?
I get it. It bothers you a lot, man.
Yes, shitty creative bothers me a lot. It does. Yes.
I get it, bro. I'm not bothered by it as much as you. But
you're okay with seeing blood back-to-back matches in the context that we got, and then again in the main event. You're okay with that?
Not bothered by it.
Neither am I. I'm not bothered by it.
It's not a complaint of mine of the show.
Oh, it's a big time complaint.
Yeah, I'm not bothered. I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me, man. When something bothers me, I tend to bring it up a lot.
Yes, because it's fucking terrible. That's why we're here, to call out the big time negatives and review the show.
Only negative if it bothers you.
All right, you're trolling me now.
Only negative if it bothers you.
You're trolling me now, bro. Come on. Fucking trolling me.
If it bothers you,
you know better than anybody exactly what my argument is, and you're fucking trolling me now. Fuck off.